Well, this video was long awaited. I was supposed to do the match reaction for the Real Madrid versus Elche game, but I couldn't be bothered. I really could not. I think being a Real Madrid fan at the moment it's stressful. It really is because I can't really sit down and watch Real Madrid games. As a Real Madrid fan, I can't sit down and watch Real Madrid games because I don't enjoy it. I watched the Elche game. I was streaming the Milan derby when I was, when the match was going on. And I mean, if you do want to catch that when we have our next Serie A stream, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But I, took time out of my day today and watched the Elche match twice. And I mean, bad performance. It was a bad performance. And I'm not really here to talk about the game because I think you can find a lot of other channels that talk about the match reactions. I want to try and make this not a fully Real Madrid channel. Maybe in the future, if the support on the channel is great, maybe I make a separate Real Madrid fan channel and then we talk about, fully Real Madrid there. But I want to talk about Real Madrid in general because the new information coming out, new news coming out is that Vinícius Jr isn't going to be extending his contract at Real Madrid. So I think this is going to be the last season of Vinícius Jr at Real Madrid. And the reason being is that he feels the relationship he has with Xabi Alonso isn't there. He feels like there is a, divide in the relationship with Xabi Alonso. He feels like the manager doesn't trust him and he doesn't think he can continue at Real Madrid. If that's the case, I don't think his future is going to be at Real Madrid. And that's what I really want to focus on in today's video and today's topic. But before I do that, I want to talk about the Real Madrid team in general. This season, we started off, impressive in the sense that it was a new system. We were playing players like Arda Güler were getting minutes, a player that we actually wanted to get minutes. He got minutes. He started playing well, and Real Madrid, we got Mbappé was scoring goals. He looked like he couldn't go a game without scoring goals, and we looked like a team that had a vision. Defense was looking solid. I think at the time we had one of the best defenses in Europe, next to probably Arsenal. So we were doing very well defensively, apart from the Atletico Madrid game where we got spanked. We were doing very well defensively. We were doing very well going forward. It looked like we were creating chances. And then came the match where I think Vinicius got benched for Rodrigo. And there were a lot of questions because this was the first time we've really seen Vinicius get onto the bench when he's not injured, when he doesn't have any issues, because he doesn't play well. And I think it was in the Oviedo game. And then Vinicius comes from the bench and he plays well. And everyone is like, this is why you don't bench Vinicius. Then our first Champions League came in this season, Madrid versus Marseille, and Vinicius is on the bench again. And, we made very tough work of that match against Marseille. And everyone is like, why are we benching Vinicius? Is there a problem between Vinicius and Xabi Alonso? So the Vinicius-Xabi Alonso relationship has been a little bit shaky from the start. You could see that Alonso wanted more from Vinicius, and Vinicius wasn't giving Alonso that extra bit that he wanted. And Rodrigo as well wasn't really giving Alonso a reason to fully bench Vinicius. I think if Rodrigo came and took the opportunities that Alonso was giving him, I think Vinicius would permanently be on the bench. But that wasn't the case. And, it became a bit of a up and down, in and out situation for Vinicius. And I think Alonso gets asked the question, why is Vinicius being sat on the bench? And he's like, you know what? As a manager, I want players to fight for spots in my team. I want there to be competitions for places in my team. And that's why Vinicius is not a guaranteed starter in my team. And I want Rodrigo to fight for the spot as well. Granted, it makes sense. As a manager, especially if you're a new manager coming into a team that you've never coached before, you want players to fight for the spots in their team. And you don't want players to feel like their spot is automatically guaranteed no matter how bad they play. So that goes on the season. Vinicius gets benched. And then the match that a lot of eyebrows are raised is the El Clasico. Vinicius is playing out of his skin. He's played very well. Doesn't have a goal and assist though. He's playing very well. But the manager thinks he wants to approach the game differently because he thinks this is a win that he should be getting. He hooks Vinicius off. Vinicius is visibly frustrated, says some stuff, goes down the tunnel, and then comes back out. Rodrigo is the one brought on the pitch. And after that, a lot of conversation is coming out. people are talking about Xabi Alonso. People are talking about Vinícius Jr. And the conversation keeps going. The conversation keeps going. Yesterday against Elche, Rodrigo starts for some reason. I don't know why Vinicius was on the bench, but Rodrigo starts for some reason, plays the game, doesn't play well. Vinicius comes on, and it's a draw. And I think from there, a lot of people start to ask, is Vinicius really part of Xabi Alonso's plan? And I'm sure if you're Vinicius as well, you probably be asking yourself that question. Am I part of this manager's plan? Now, as a Real Madrid fan, I've watched Vinicius play for a few seasons now. I think Vinicius, when he came in fresh, we had the issue with Hazard, the injuries and all of that. And he had the opportunity. He was given the opportunity in the team. He played well. And he became a starter, basically, mainly because Eden Hazard was injured. But Vinicius came in, played well, but had a very bad start to his Real Madrid career. And one match that is always going to stick with me is that Ajax match. Real Madrid versus Ajax, everyone played badly, but Vinicius especially was not on it that day. So, a few seasons go by, Vinicius keeps playing badly. We get that situation with Benzema saying that he swears that Vinicius is playing for the other team, Ferland Mendy shouldn't pass to him. And, we all kind of resonate with Vinicius because he is that sort of player that wears his heart on the sleeve. He is a full, passion merchant, basically. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that in all the positive ways that a passion merchant can mean. And he plays to the best of his abilities when he's wearing a Real Madrid shirt. The problem is he doesn't play to the best of his abilities every game. And as a Real Madrid fan that has grown up watching players like Benzema, Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Casemiro, Marcelo, Sergio Ramos, Rafael Varane, Dani Carvajal, a host of quality players. I have watched players that have come into this Real Madrid team and been consistent. Game in, game out. They are putting in at the very least 7 out of 10 performances. Even if we lose a game, there are games where Real Madrid lose and you say, you know what? Props to the other team. They came, they played well against Real Madrid and they got the win that they deserved. Any team that played Real Madrid when we had these quality players and won against Real Madrid, you felt like that team deserved it. There was never really a time you looked at a Real Madrid team and said, this player didn't play well or this player didn't have a good game. But now you can look at Real Madrid and you can pick out 4, 5, 6 players that don't have at least a 7 out of 10 performances. And Vinícius Jr. is one of those players. The last time Vinícius Jr. played well was 4 matches ago. That was the El Clasico. That was the last time I saw Vinícius Jr. play well. 4 matches ago. For a player who's supposedly one of the best in our team and one of the best in his position, that should not be the case. That should not be the case. The last time I saw Jude Bellingham play well was yesterday. The last time before yesterday I saw Jude Bellingham play well was the game before that. Jude Bellingham is a consistent performer. Ever since he's put on a Real Madrid shirt, he's always put in at least a 7 out of 10 performance every single game. Mbappé, bar his very early days at Real Madrid, he has been a consistent performer. He's putting in goals and assists game in, game out, it looks like. He's able to put numbers and, perform well in games when other people are not performing well. Same thing with players like Thibaut Courtois. Thibaut Courtois is a goalkeeper that's going to put a 7 out of 10 performance every single game. There are obviously some shots he's not going to save, but when he does have the opportunity to save shots, he does that. That's what I want to see from Real Madrid every single game. I do not care your name. I don't care what you've done for Real Madrid in the past. What I care about is when Real Madrid have a game on a particular day and you put on that Real Madrid shirt, I expect you to put a 7 out of 10 at the very least. If you can be asked to put in a 10 out of 10 performance in a Real Madrid shirt, which I mean is questionable, at the very least, I should be expecting to see a 7 out of 10 performance from a Real Madrid player. Correct me if I am wrong, but that has not been the case with Vinicius. Vinicius has been a frustrating player. Vinicius has been an inconsistent player. And to hear that he now has an issue with the manager who is rightly within all his right to bench Vinicius. Keep in mind, Vinicius has never played for Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso has never coached Vinicius in his short coaching career. Alonso owes Vinicius absolutely nothing to play Vinícius Jr. Now, if Vinícius Jr. from the first game against Osasuna to yesterday's game against Elche has been putting in 7 out of 10 performances, game in, game out, then we have a different conversation. Then we have a different conversation as to why Xabi Alonso is having a bad relationship with our best player, or our player, a player that is putting in man of the match performances game in, game out. But herein lies the case. The funny thing is, the first time Vinicius actually had the opportunity to show Xabi Alonso that he is an undroppable player in the match against Osasuna. I don't know if you watched it, if you're a Real Madrid fan, the match against Osasuna. That was the first opportunity Vinícius Jr. had to show Xabi Alonso, I am an undroppable player as well as, alongside Kylian Mbappé. He fluffed it. He fluffed his first actual opportunity to show Xabi Alonso what he's really all about. Then came the Oviedo game. He came off the bench and actually played well. But as a manager, I'm putting myself in Xabi Alonso's shoes. We'll get to Xabi Alonso as well. This is not just going to be about Vinicius. As I said, I'll talk about the whole team, but I want to focus more on Vinicius because that's what this video is mainly going to be about. I put myself in Xabi Alonso's shoes. If I'm a manager and I come into a team and a player I'm expecting to be the best player in the team, the first game, the first opportunity I have to have a look at this player and see what he can contribute to this team, and the player fluffs his lines, basically frustrates the hell out of me and almost makes me lose or drop points in my first game, do you really think I'm going to trust this player moving forward? No. Then again, he gives him an opportunity. Oviedo match, he comes in, does well. Mallorca match, he comes in, does well. The next match, Sociedad, Vinicius is trash. Vinicius doesn't do anything against Sociedad. Frustrating. Again, that inconsistency is what you expect Xabi Alonso to be like. You know what? Forget the fact that I have to do. People forget that Xabi Alonso has to win a trophy this season. That is the expectations of Real Madrid. Xabi Alonso has to win a trophy this season. I don't know what trophy he's going to win, but he has to win a trophy this season. We cannot go trophyless another season in a row. 2 seasons in a row, it cannot be that Real Madrid go trophyless, especially if Barcelona end up winning a major trophy, be it La Liga, Champions League or something else. So Xabi Alonso is under immense pressure to win a trophy this season. And he needs performances that players like Kylian Mbappé. You don't see Xabi Alonso taking off Kylian Mbappé unless we're leading. The reason why is because Kylian Mbappé has proved over the few games that the games we've played this season that he can put the ball in the back of the net, that he can be a reliable player if you put him in the right position. He has proved that. Same with Bellingham. Over the very short period of time Bellingham has played for us this season, he has proved to Xabi Alonso, if you trust me, I can help you. If you help me, I can help you. He has done that. Same thing with Arda Güler. But Arda Güler is to, a more, a lesser effect than Kylian Mbappé and Jude Bellingham. But Arda Güler as well has proved that. That's why you hardly see players like Kylian Mbappé. Keep in mind, Jude Bellingham has come back from a surgery. Not an injury, a surgery. A shoulder surgery. Jude Bellingham came back from a shoulder surgery and has had one bad game. One bad game. And that game was up against Atletico Madrid. That's the only bad game Jude Bellingham has had since he came back from a surgery. Why wouldn't Xabi Alonso trust a player like that? Ask yourself that. Why do you think Xabi Alonso wouldn't trust a player like Jude Bellingham who has had one bad game after coming back from a shoulder surgery? Make it make sense. And for some reason, instead of Vinicius, do you know what's going to be so easy for Vinicius to do right now? Next game, Real Madrid have a worldie. and continue doing that till the end of the season. And I bet you Xabi Alonso will be begging. Xabi Alonso will be begging the Madrid board to give Vinicius a new contract. If Vinicius keeps playing, if the next game we have, let me just have a look at what we have in the next game. So our next game is up against Olympiacos. If Vinicius puts in a man of the match performance against Olympiacos, Athletic Bilbao, Celta Vigo, Manchester City, Deportivo Alaves, Sevilla, does that to the end of the season, and Alonso is still not able to, play him consistently, then I'll have a change of mind. Then I'll definitely have a change of mind if Vinicius can do that. But I can guarantee you, out of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 games coming up in the next few weeks. Out of those 7 games, I can guarantee you Vinicius plays well in 3 of them. Not even half. Vinicius is going to play well in just 3 of those 7 games. I can bet money, good money on that. I can bet good money that that is what Vinicius is going to do in the next 7 matches. He's going to play well in 3. And how do you expect a manager in his debut season where he needs to win a trophy to trust a player who can play well in 3 out of 7 matches? When he has players that can play well in 5 out of 7 matches. He has players that can play well in 6 out of 7 matches. He has players that could damn near play well in 7 out of those 7 matches. And you want him to trust a player that can play 3, that can play well in 3 out of those 7? Doesn't make any sense to me. Really, really doesn't make any sort of sense to me. But there's some Real Madrid fans on Twitter, on X, talking about Vinicius, showing compilations. That doesn't matter. The Vinicius of 2 seasons ago isn't the Vinicius I'm seeing now. You're talking about Vinicius 2 seasons ago. It's not the same Vinicius I'm seeing now. That Vinicius isn't going to help us now. I would love to see that Vinicius 2 seasons ago. I would love to see Vinicius 2 seasons ago this season, but I'm not seeing it. And until I see it, Xabi Alonso has no reason, no priority to play Vinicius. To be very honest with you, bench Vinicius. I'm going to be real with you. If this contract talks is the way it is at the moment, if you're really telling me that Vinicius isn't going to sign a contract for next season and he's going to allow his contract to run out, bench him. Because, we're not going to sell him, so even if his value goes down, we're not going to get any benefits from him. Bench him. If Vinicius isn't going to be part of our future next season, bench him. Start building the team around people that are actually going to be here next season. A la Kylian Mbappé, Jude Bellingham, Arda Güler. Put Kylian Mbappé on the left now. If Vinicius is not going to be part of the team, I want to see him slowly get phased out of the team like Mbappé was at PSG. When Mbappé was guaranteed coming to Real Madrid last season, he was slowly faded out of the team. That's what I want to see with Vinicius. If he's not going to sign a new contract, I want him to be slowly faded out of the team. Play Mbappé on the left. Sub Vinicius off for Gonzalo Garcia. Stop the Vinicius and Rodrigo thing. Stop it. I don't want to see Vinicius coming out for Rodrigo. I don't want to see Rodrigo coming out for Vinicius. Rodrigo might as well just go with him. Rodrigo is a different topic. I don't want to talk about Rodrigo here, maybe some other time. But if Vinicius isn't going to be part of Real Madrid's future, I want to see him slowly phase out of the team. Because if Vinicius starts playing well now, and we start to depend on him, and he still doesn't want to sign a contract out of stubbornness, because we know Vinicius can do that. If Vinicius decides decides to start playing well, and we start to rely on his performances, and he doesn't sign the contract, we're going to have another Toni Kroos situation where a good player leaves the team. So if he isn't going to sign a contract and he's adamant on doing that, I want to see him get slowly phased out of the team, and I want to see players like Gonzalo Garcia given a start. If need be, I want to see Endrick get in the team. I want a striker. I want a striker in the team because for the first time, actually, yesterday, the Elche match, we actually got to see Gonzalo Garcia come onto the pitch, and what a difference, what a breath of fresh air it was. What a breath of fresh air it was to actually see a striker in the team. Trent was putting crosses into the box, and you could see someone was actually getting there. Camavinga put a good cross into the box, and Gonzalo Garcia almost got there. I can guarantee you, if we started the game like that against Elche, we probably won that game. So please, start putting Mbappé on the left. Start putting Fran Garcia up top. If you want to play a 3-4-3, sure. Fran Garcia up top, Mbappe as center attacking mid. He can play that position. Arda Güler at center attacking mid, or you can put Arda Güler as Jude Bellingham as the other center attacking mid. Arda Güler in center mid with Tchouaméni or Valverde, whoever is gonna be there. And then we play the system. Let's start to balance this team out, because the problem initially was we can't get Vinícius Jr and Mbappé in the same team because they both want to occupy the same spot. Finally, we've solved that problem. Vinicius, thank you. You've helped us solve that problem. If you really don't want to sign a contract, thank you for your service. You've been a really good Madrid player. You're probably not going to be a Madrid legend because you've been too inconsistent. You didn't really, 2 Champions League. What's that? A lot of people have won 2 Champions League. So he's going to be a Real Madrid great, not really a Real Madrid legend. And I appreciate all the things he has done for Real Madrid. If he really doesn't want to sign a contract, it's goodbye Vinicius. Let's start to build the team without him, because there was a unbalance when Mbappe came into the team, with everyone saying that Vinicius can't play with Mbappe, or Mbappe can't play with Vinicius. And if that's the case, phase Vinicius out of the team, put him on the left wing. Let's start playing a striker. Let's actually start to build and balance this team out, because I am tired of watching Real Madrid this season. It's tiring watching Real Madrid this season because I don't see a style of play. Now, onto the manager, Xabi Alonso. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video. Onto the manager, Xabi Alonso. We need to start seeing an identity. We need to start seeing a starting 11. Up till now, where are we? 24th of November. Xabi Alonso is still unable to pick a starting 11, a consistent starting 11. Today, Fran Garcia is in the team. Tomorrow, it's Alvaro Carreras. The next day, Valverde is playing right wing. The next match, Trent is playing right back. Today, it's Arda Güler at 10. Tomorrow, it's Jude Bellingham at 10. The next day, Vinicius is playing. The next day, Rodrigo isn't playing. Stop it. Sit down, make the hard decisions, bench whoever needs to be benched, and pick a starting 11 that we can look at. Wednesday against Olympiacos, if we manage to fumble that game, if we manage to go away, it's going to be a difficult game because Olympiacos, away to Olympiacos is always going to be a tough game because their crowd and everything, and it's a Champions League game, you never know. But if we manage to fumble that game against Olympiacos and then go on to fumble against Girona, I think Alonso might be out before Christmas. I really do think so, because our next 2 games before we go and meet Atletico Bilbao, Olympiacos and Girona, we need to see a performance. We need to see an identity. We need to see a starting 11. I want to see a consistent starting 11 against Olympiacos, and I want to see a consistent starting 11 against Girona. None of this trying new formations, trying new systems, trying new approaches. Today we're playing a 4-3-3. Tomorrow we're playing a 4-4-2 diamond. To be the next we're playing a 4-2-3-1. Then we play a 3-4-3. Have a system, stick to it. I know he has a system that he wants to play, and if the players are not able to play it, and you can only play a 4-3-3 this season, play a 4-3-3 till the season ends, and then next season when you get more players, you can do better. I want to see a consistent system, a consistent identity, and a team I can look forward to actually watching. None of this Danny Ceballos trial and error thing going on in the team. Starting 11, best 11, put that out consistently for 2, 3, 4 games that Real Madrid, because keep in mind, the constant changing of players in the starting 11 doesn't help. It doesn't help build a chemistry. It doesn't help build, a balance in the team. It doesn't help build familiarity because today Bellingham has Camavinga and Valverde and Guler with him. The next day he has Ceballos and Guler with him. Where's Camavinga? He doesn't know. It doesn't help build an identity, familiarity, and stuff like that. So I want to see a consistent starting 11 for Xabi Alonso. I want to see a consistent identity. I want to see a team that is excited playing football that Real Madrid fans can look at and be excited to watch. That's what we were promised. That's why we wanted a different manager, because Carlo Ancelotti was just vibes. We were playing vibes football under Carlo Ancelotti. If that's what we're going to be doing under Xabi Alonso, we might as well just switch managers with Brazil. Take Xabi Alonso to Brazil and bring Ancelotti back. But obviously, I don't want that. I want to watch exciting football. And that's what we saw in the Club World Cup. I really do ask myself this question sometimes. Where is the Xabi Alonso we saw in the Club World Cup? Where is the Xabi Alonso that was calling Gonzalo García the next Raúl? Because of the way he has good movements in the box. Where is that Xabi Alonso? Because it's not the same Xabi Alonso I'm looking at this season in La Liga. So I want to see that. I want to see something exciting, because that is what we were promised when Xabi Alonso was coming into the team. So there are a lot of things that need to change. And as I said, topic of this video, Vinícius Jr., if he really, really isn't going to sign a new contract, and that has been fully confirmed, I want him phased out of the team stat pronto from Wednesday. I want him phased out of the team from Wednesday. Start Gonzalo Garcia. I would be glad to see Gonzalo Garcia start on Wednesday. Mbappé on the left, Gonzalo Garcia, at strike, and then a player who can actually utilize Trent's run. I mean, Rodrigo. I said I wasn't going to talk about Rodrigo, but I want to talk about this moment from Rodrigo in the Elche match. There was a moment on the right-hand side. Rodrigo gets the ball on the right wing, and he has options in the box, but he's in a precarious situation where he has two players in front of him. He can't really find a pass. And there's Bellingham making a run into the box. Mbappé is on the edge of the box, and I think it's someone else. I think Arda Güler is someone else is making a run into the box. And you can see Trent bombing on the right wing, making the overlap on the right wing. All Rodrigo has to do is lay the ball off to Trent, and he delivers a beautiful cutback into the box, because we know Trent can do that. What does Rodrigo do? Rodrigo tries to shoot. Rodrigo tries to shoot in the tightest of angles you probably ever see from a player who's not even left-footed. He's playing on the right wing, and he's not even left-footed, and he tries to shoot the ball with the inside of his foot, trying to curl the ball inside. I don't know what Rodrigo was trying to do, but he tries to shoot, and then the opportunity is wasted. So if we can play Mbappé on left wing, if we can play Gonzalo Garcia at strike, and play a right winger, be it Arda Güler, I think Arda Güler would absolutely adore Trent making a run, bypass him on the overlap. So play a right winger that's actually going to utilize Trent, because I think the quality that Trent brings to this team, he's the closest we're going to get to Toni Kroos in terms of delivering good passes, direct passes, quality passes into the box and into players' feet. I think Alexander-Arnold is going to be the closest player we're going to have to Toni Kroos when it comes to delivering those quality crosses, and we need to utilize that. We need to utilize that. The only way we're going to utilize that is, one, having a right winger that is going to make Trent invincible. Mo Salah was so dangerous that it basically made Trent invisible, and you can't make a player like that invisible, because once he becomes visible again to your eyes, it's too late. He's delivered a very good cross into the box. He's had an opportunity to shoot. So we need a right winger that can kind of overshadow Trent in a way that by the time he becomes visible to the opponent team, it's too late for them to react. Definitely. So a lot of changes need to be made. But again, as I said, the main takeaway from this video should be, if Vinicius is not going to be continuing with us next season, I want to see him getting phased out of the team stat pronto. Forget what he's done for us in the past. He's not doing it. I think people are too, before I wrap things up, I think people are too focused on nostalgia. People are too focused on the past. Vinicius has a good CV. He has a good pedigree that you can say, he has the, past and history and, CV, as I said earlier, to be like, okay, even if he doesn't play well today, he's going to play well tomorrow. Alonso cannot risk that. Maybe Carlo Ancelotti can risk that, but Alonso at the moment cannot risk a player who's going to play well today is not going to play well tomorrow. So again, if he's not going to be part of our team next season, phase him out of the team. Start to build a team that we can look at next season and, know that these players are going to be there. We can't have a player that, because I'm sure he's going to start playing well. I wouldn't be surprised if Vinicius starts playing well. But even though he starts playing well, we can't rely on him because if he's not going to be here next season, again, it's going to be a situation like Toni Kroos was when he left. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As usual, any feedback from you guys would be greatly appreciated.